So this is an absolute beginner tutorial on Power BI. So in this tutorial, you're going to learn how to create a report in Power BI. It assumes you have no knowledge of data science, data analytics, or reporting. And this is going to be easy, step by step from the scratch. You're going to be installing Power BI, opening Power BI, importing Excel data into Power BI, doing some data transformation, and doing some data visualization, and then creating these reports. I'm going to show you how to do this, make this report interactive, so that when you click on these check boxes, you'll be able to have this report reflect what you select. So let's dive right in. Let's go to download and install Power BI right now. So I'm going to go to Power BI. Now you need to pay attention that what you have to download is Power BI Desktop Downloads. Again, if you are joining me for the first time, if this is your first time seeing my tutorial, please subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss an update from me. So here you have different products of Power BI. Let me increase the font a little bit. So the one you have to download will be Power BI, Microsoft Power BI Desktop. So click on Downloads to download it. It's going to ask to open in Microsoft Store. You can actually go there, but I don't normally go that route. So what you are going to do, go to Advanced Options, and from Advanced Options, you simply select Download. When you click on Download, select Power BI Desktop 64 if your system is 64-bit. Then select this if your system is 32-bit, and you now click on Next, and then it downloads to your local directory. So after it downloads, simply double click and install it. The installation is quite straightforward, and interestingly, Power BI is free. You can actually use it for free, unlike Tableau. Tableau is not free. So once you download and install, you have Power BI available for you. So I'm going to open up Power BI, and then let's start working. So I'm going to click here. You can see Power BI recently added. I'm going to simply open it up. Another thing you need is that you need the financials Excel sheet. So this is a sample Excel sheet we are going to be using for this tutorial. It's called financials. You can get it from the link in the description of this video. Get that Excel sheet, and then you'll be able to use it for this tutorial. So Power BI opens up like this, okay? Now if you close up this window, there's another window that actually opens up. I'm also going to show you this window as well. All right, so when this is a window that actually opens up as well. So click on import data from Excel. Again, this data called financial sample, you can get it from the description of this video. You see a link in the description. Simply download this Excel sheet. It's called financial sample, and then click on open. So once you click on open, it will open it. It will load up this data for you. So since this is a Power BI tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do what is called data transformation. So once the Excel sheet opens up, you see a Excel file opens up, you see two sheets, financials and sheet 1. So select financials. When you select financials, it's going to give you a preview of your data, as you can see here, and then you have to click on transform data. This is optional, but I want to just show you that you can actually do a number of things to actually clean up your data. In data science, we call it data pre-processing or data cleaning or data engineering. But here we call it data transformation. Now, if you scroll to this side and we go to units sold, so if I scroll to this side, look for units sold, we are going to make a transformation on the units sold. So you can see that we have units sold, which is this one. So I'm going to select it. Now, if you look at the unit sold, you see it contains decimal numbers, as you can see right here. So you have 1618.6. That doesn't make sense. You can't have decimal numbers in units. So I'm going to go to transform, click on transform, and choose data type from here, and simply change it to whole number, and say replace current. So when I do that, it simply converts the the decimals to whole numbers. So the next thing we want to do is let me teach you how to change to uppercase. So let's say I want to change this segment to uppercase. I simply have to select it, and this time I'm going to format here. So format and choose uppercase is going to change it to uppercase. Now the more you are doing anything is going to be listing all the steps you want to do. Just in case you want to undo your changes, you can actually undo it from here. So the next thing we want to change, I want to show you how to also change the column name. Let's say the column names you don't like it, like month name, you don't like it. We have to double click and then enter the right name. So in this case, we don't want to have month name, we want to have only month. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is we want to do filtering as part of our transformation. So I'm going to, for instance, we want to filter out the Montana product. You have this Montana product here. I want to filter it out. So I'm going to simply select and uncheck Montana here and say OK. So once I do that, it's going to filter and remove this Montana from here. So you can see that we have the steps listed right here. So in case I have made a mistake, I simply can delete any of them. Okay, so after doing this, I'm going back to home here, and I'm going to click on apply and close. So what's going to happen here, once you click on apply and close, it's going to apply all the changes and then close up the data transformation window. Now we are going to be talking about something called data access expressions. So DAX, write it down, DAX, data access expressions. Is very simple. So basically data access expressions is the code that actually executes when you are performing an operation. But before we write data access expressions, I want you to see that this is our table. It's still here, just in case you are looking for it. So it's still here. So you can click on it and you see the fields. Now you need to pay attention to this side. These three items here, we call it the tabs here. So we have reports tab, we have data tab, we have model tab. We're going to be using the three of them. We're going to be creating our reports. This report I showed you, we're going to be creating it here in the reports tab. I mean, this report here I showed you, we're going to be doing it in the reports tab. And the data tab here, you want to see your data, you're going to click on the data tab to see your data. My system is a bit slow, so it takes some time to load up the data. And now here is where you do modeling. You want to create relationships, you want to do joins and a number of things between two or more tables. So you want to slice data, project data from two tables into one. So this is the three sections: reports, data tab, and modeling tab. All right, so now we are going to do modeling, but before we do that, I'm going to create a calculated column. Okay, so I want to find out the sum of all the units sold, right? So let's go to units sold. Let's see. So if you look at, you have this units sold. We want to find out the sum, the total number of units sold. Okay, so how do we do this? We are going to be writing a data access expression. So to do that, I'm going to click on new measure right here. You see new measure here. I'm going to click. So I'm creating a new column or a new data. We call it measure, but it's more or less like a new value that we want to use, a new aggregate value. So I want to call this total units sold. Total units sold is equal to, I'm going to say sum. And the sum is going to be financials. Of course, financials is the name of our table, and it's going to be units sold. Gives me IntelliSense, and then I'm going to close it up. Now you can see that we've written a simple code here. I'm sure this is not too difficult for you to understand. So this is a basic code. We are going to write one more later on, but for now, this is the code to find the sum of the total units sold. So I'm going to simply accept it by clicking on this accept button here. And once I do that, we have in our fields here, we have the total units sold. We can now have the total units sold as a field as well. Okay, so we want to create because now I'm going to show you how to create a new table that is a subset of the original table. Okay, so now we have a whole lot of things here, but we want to just have a subset of this table. We are going to create this table using data access expressions as well. So I'm going to go back to Home tab. I'm going to go back to Home tab here. And this time I'm going to click on New Table. Okay. So I'm going to click on New Table. We want to select the data, a slide of this data going between certain range. Let's say this total, our data covers a range of 1980 to 2022. But I want to only see what happened in 2013 and 2014. So I'm going to create a table. I'm going to call this table calendar. I'm going to call this table calendar. I'm going to also write a data access expression, and it's going to, the function is calendar. So it's telling us select start date and end date. So the start date is going to be a date function like this, and select date. And we want to specify the year, so it's going to be 2013 01 January 1, 2013. So this time is going to be 2014 December 31. So the end of 2014. So December is 12 and 31, right? So close and close. Perfect. So we've created a new table. So if you want, you can actually add more items on this table. But for now, for simplicity, just leave it at this place so that you can follow this tutorial all the way to the end. So I'm going to just accept it here. Okay. So finally, we want to look at these two tables. So you have this table contains only data. If I go to model, you have the two tables we created right here. So let's do modeling. Now we've used modeling, we've used data. Now I want to drag to tell a Power BI that these two dates actually relate. That this date in calendar table is actually a subset of the dates. Is actually a subset of the date in the financials table. So this is how you do it. All right. So this is the model we've created. We are going to be using this model later. Now let's go to reports. So I'm going to reports. Now this is where it becomes interesting because we are now going to be doing some kind of design. So the first thing we want to do is to add a title. So I'm going to click on this text box and drag it here. Actually, just click on it. Once you click on it, it gives you this option here. So you can just type what you want. So I'm going to call it Executive Summary Reports. And I'm going to call it Financial Executive Summary. I'm going to call it Financials Report, and I'm going to format it to look a little good. So I'm going to select everything and click on bold, and I'm going to change this one to 20 so it looks a little good. Okay. Okay, make some room here. Great. Now we want to remember what we are trying to do is to do this. We want to find profit by date. We want to find profit by country. I want to find sales by segment. I want to give the user opportunity to slice the report. I mean to filter the report to actually adjust this report to see maybe for year 2013. You want to see the graph changes to reflect this. So the first thing we want to do is we want to do profit by date. So I'm going to drag the profit from here to the canvas. I'm going to drag it from here to the canvas, and you can see it will wait for a few seconds and have profit. Okay. Now this is a profit, but it's showing the profit for the year. Okay. Now we are going to drag the dates because we want to see by date. So we are going to drag the dates onto this same profit. So you have the date we created. This time we have two dates. We have this date in the table, but we want to use the date in the calendar because we want for the 2 years we mentioned. So I'm going to drag onto the same on top of profit. So it's going to adjust itself like this. So here you can see that it's showing us 2 years, 2013 and 2014. and that is exactly what we want. So here, if I drop down this date, it says date hierarchy, and it also says profit right here. Now we want to view this actually by month, not just by date hierarchy. We want to see this by month. So to adjust that, I'm going to go to this axis and I'm going to drop down this, and instead of using date hierarchy here, because date hierarchy is only 2 years, I'm going to just select date. So once you select date, it's going to split the report by date, as you can see. So I'm going to kind of make some room here for it to look a little good. To know if I can adjust this. Okay, I think it's fine. Let's leave it like this for now. Okay, so now we want to change it to a line graph. So remember, this is what we are trying to do. Let me see. We want to have it to be a line graph. Now, if you go to this place, visualizations, you simply select line chart, and it's going to change it to a line chart like this with the months, with the days, the names of the months, right? Okay, September 2013 all the way. So you can actually make some room here. Okay. So some months are actually missing in the record. So this is not a fault from you. All right, so we'll continue. We want to now see profit by geographical location. So profit by country, okay? So we are going to go and drag the country from here all the way to the canvas, and we want to see the profit by country. Now this is not profit by country, this is just country for now. In case this country doesn't show up, you simply go to File and go to Options and Settings, and go to Options, and from Options you can make some changes. Give 1 second so that it comes up. So I think it should be in Report Settings. Let me see. On Security, you can now go to Allow. Simply look for what to allow. It should be allow. I can't remember exactly. Regional settings, I think, or maybe. So I can't remember exactly, but in case your report does not show, it's going to tell you exactly the steps to take to actually allow the map to show up here. Now we want to see profit by country, because for now this is just country. So we are going to drag profit on top the country, right? So I'm going to go here and drag profit from here on top the country, and at this point it's going to show us profit by country. So you can see when you click on these items here, it gives you the profit by country, and also it adjusts this one to reflect that country. Okay, for now let's leave it at this for now. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to view the sales by product. We want to see sales by product and segment. Now to see sales by product and segment, we are going to go to select sales here, and I'm going to also select product here, and sorry, so I think I'm missing it up. Okay, so I should be outside. If you click on it, it's going to pre-select. So make sure you are outside here. So I'm going to select sales by product and segment. So I'm going to select the product and the segment. So one thing you observe here is, as soon as you are doing it kind of preempts that you want to create a report sales by product and segment. So what I'm simply going to do is to simply arrange it to fit my screen here. So this is basically how easy it is to use Power BI. So here it simply generates the sales by product and segment for us, as you can see here. Okay, so now we want to add a slicer, right? What do we mean by slicer? We want to allow the user option to filter this data. Okay, I want to see what happened in August. I want to see what happened in Canada. Let me show you exactly of how slicer works. So if I go online and go to, say, coronavirus statistics, you'll see that we have exactly what we are doing here. So we have opportunity to select a country here, So this is what we call a slider. You can see the whole data. You can also select by country, and it's going to adjust the graph and also this map to tell you exactly what is happening. You can also adjust for the dates. So this is what we call slicing. Okay. So in this case, we want to give the user opportunity to select a date. Okay. So I'm going to go to this. Sorry, I'm going to deselect everything. I'm going to go to drag date from here onto this place. I'm dragging dates onto this place, and we are going to now add a slicer. If you go to visualization, we have a slicer here. It should be this. So you see, we have the slicer. We are going to adjust it. Instead of a slider like this, it's going to be a list. So I'm going to click on this place and simply choose list. Okay, so it means this is going to allow the user to actually select a month and see what happens. We also want to add another date slicer. Let me just show you another method to add a slicer using the data access expression table. So we are going to also select date, this time from the calendar here, and drag it and drop right under this one. And again, we are going to drag the slicer. We are going to choose the slicer here. This is slicer. And this should be correct. So it's giving us here 2013, 2014. If I drop down, it tells us the quarter. So this is also fine, but we don't really want to work with the quarter. So I'm going to go remove the quarter. Like I'm going to go here, you see the fields here. I'm going to simply remove from here. I'm going to simply remove the quarter and remove the day as well. So in that case, I only have the month and the year, as you can see. Okay, so this is about the same thing we have here, but in this case now we have created it in a different way to allow us to drop down. Okay, so basically we are almost done with this. So let me just show you a bit of things you can play around with to be able to make your report look good. So let's go to format this. So I'm going to format this to actually add shadow behind it. So I think I'm going to say format my visual. And from format my visual, I'm going to go to general and I'm going to go to effects and choose shadow and choose on here. So when I choose on, I can say not offside, but position should be center. Okay. So when you say center, it kind of puts the shadow all around the graphic. So I'm going to also do this same for this one. I'm going to add the shadow this time. I'm going to also add it in the center. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing for here. So for the last one, I'm going to add the shadow and it's going to be center. And in this case of the date slicer, I'm going to add background to it. So I'm going to go to visual border and simply turn it on and go to this one, go to visual border as well and turn it on. So it adds a neat little border around our, it adds a neat little border around the item you have on your canvas, around the date range here. Okay, so this is basically it. Now you can now play around by going to, for instance, you want to go to maybe the format, you can go to, you have, select everything first. So from format, you can change the theme. So I think you can go to format and change the theme. Yeah, so here you can go to more visuals. Okay, not from here. From here. From view, you have, okay, that's from view themes. You can try out a different different themes here and see how it looks. And so this is basically it. And now you can now try a few things. For instance, you can click on here and try to go to our format and go to general, and maybe add some more additional effects. You can add a header icon like this. So this doesn't have any much effect. So you can play around here to see what happens when you adjust the viewpoints, the views. So I'm going to actually be stopping here. So this is the absolute beginner tutorial. Before we go, I'm going to export this graph. Now you can now select to see what happened in 2013. You can adjust itself and you can check what happened in 2014. You can also check for each of the year as well. So let's export this to PDF. So I'm going to save file. Now you can publish it to different places. Now we don't have Power BI service for now. So I'm going to be doing that in another tutorial. For now, I want you to understand that Power BI is really so easy. So let's simply export to PDF. Export to PDF. So it's going to create this file, this report in PDF, and you can actually send it around to people or your friends. So you can see our beautiful reports here, executive summary financial report. If you come this far, thumbs up to you, you've done great. And I'd like to stop here. I'm going to be making other lessons, more advanced topics in Power BI. I'd like to remind you to subscribe to my channel if you've not subscribed, and also let me know if you have any challenges whatsoever. I remain Timeson the Genius, and I'm always there for you.